Hello. And I find immediately that I've forgotten to push play on my presentation. So this is going to go really well. Good evening, everybody, and I hope you've enjoyed your day so far here. If you were there for the beginning this morning, you'll have heard me introduce myself already. My name is Neil. I'm a science presenter here in the UK. I have a show for you today that is, I could say the word special, but it's a one-off. It's only for here, because it involves Scratch. And I am not a Scratch user. But I really wanted to try and put something together that would be relevant for today. So I've combined some of the normal demonstrations that I would do with something actually related to Scratch. Now, has anyone actually read the description for what this show is about? Like, no, I could have done whatever I wanted to, couldn't I, really? Okay, great. We are going on an adventure. And in fact, I'm not totally in costume yet, so I'm going to have to put these on, because this show for today is Scratch Cat and the Code of Doom. Or Ooh! So I don't really own an Indiana Jones costume. This is about as close as I can get to it. Technically, that's a cowboy hat. But, you know, I get into character. The idea is that we are going to go on an adventure, Indiana Jones style, using Scratch. And in true adventure style, it will need some of you to be the brave explorers. Now, some of you might want to come and take part in the hot seat over here. If you do, you'll need a little support team as well. Yeah, there could be somebody you know. It could be somebody who's just willing to help you from the audience. If that sounds like you're kind of a nightmare, I would understand. In which case, sit tight where you are, and you don't have to take part in anything. In fact, if nobody volunteers, we can do it without anybody. It's very possible. So I say, you're about to see my first real Scratch project. So, yeah, let's see how this goes. Right, hang on. I've got a new computer at the same time, which is really complicating things. So here is my Scratch project. So thank you. So let's just see if I know how to make this work. I think I've got to push the green flag. Is that right? Yep. Okay, thanks. That's the level, yes. Okay, so I can at least get rid of this. Hang on. There you are. Two green buttons in one day. Right, so what this is going to require is two things before we can get going. So we are going to need somebody who would like to come and play this game sitting here. Now, this is a point-and-click adventure. So all you have to do is move the mouse and click on things, ideally very slowly. If you go to, it's quite a hard game. If you go too quickly, it's not going to happen. At the same time, I need someone to play the role of the villain, because we're going into a temple to recover an object that will be locked away in this safe. Now, this safe needs to be locked with a code, and it's important that no one else in the room, apart from myself and the person playing the villain in this case, knows that code. Now, as a villain, you need to do one thing, and that's come up with a 4-digit number. So it's not particularly hard. The best thing for me to be actually to volunteer somebody else, because if you know somebody who you think is particularly villainous kind of underneath somewhere, that's what someone down here, okay, that's kind of what I'm looking for, especially someone that likes 4-digit numbers. You wouldn't normally put those two things together, but, you know, suspension of disbelief here. So do we have somebody who is villainous and likes 4-digit numbers? You pointed at someone down. You do. Okay, brilliant. I thought you had that look about you that said that. Okay, do you want me to come down to you, or do you mind coming up here? Okay, you're going to come up here. In which case, we should give him a little round of applause. If you come around this way, you can kind of sneak on up. What's your name? Nadav. Nadav? Yeah. With an N? Exactly. Same as Neil. Okay, brilliant. So, Nadav, in your role as a villain, you are secreting away the treasure. So the idea is you get a 4-digit code that is difficult to guess. Okay, so if you choose like 1, 2, 3, 4, the rest of the show, yeah, it doesn't work very well. Okay. So me and you can know this, but no one else can. So I have a piece of paper here for you to write this on. And it's very important they don't see it. So could you just come over here for me? And we're going to do it over here on the desk. I'm going to write that code down. That's a good space for it, okay? So just so that no one else can see. Make sure when you've done this, you don't pick it up and show everybody. Okay, I see what you got. Okay, that's pretty good. Let's make that a little bit bigger. So what I want you to do is take up the whole piece of paper with that code, okay? Bear in mind, I have to fold it over again. And, it's all right, I didn't really explain it to you. If you haven't guessed yet, I've never done this show before, so I'll know that next time. Really nice big letters on there. Numbers, really, not letters. There are so many things that can go wrong. Okay, I like that. Is that a number that's special to you in any way?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, right, good. Everybody else is going to know this by the end. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually.
Okay, let's not give any clues. Okay, so what we now need to do is to put that code into the safe. Okay, so we're just going to take our bag here, and that's going to go in there, and lock it up. Now, no one else can see while we're doing this, but you're going to hear us making some beeping noises. That's not just sound effects, it's actually the safe. So I'm going to push a little button on the inside of this, and that allows us to reset the code. So can you just type your code in for me? Now, the astute among you may have heard 5 or 6 beeps there. That last one is literally just me setting the code. Okay, that is now locked. Right? So no one can get in there until they know the code. Would you please give our villain a nice big round of applause? That's all you have to do. You can get the way down. Okay, now while that's going on, I have something else set up over here. And this is where our code is going to be stored. So we've got the code nicely secure on this piece of paper over here. But in the meantime, we're going to pop it into this box just to make sure no one can see. So obviously, just so you can trust everything that's going on here, it's really important that someone checks this box. So can I ask you to have a quick look at that? It's clearly black. Happy with that? Yeah, there's no secret cameras in it or anything like that. Yeah, it would be a little bit hard because it's just a piece of steel and plastic. So that goes over here. And I'm going to secret the code inside of this. And that's going to be very important for us later on. And just because I can see this going really badly wrong later, I'm going to stick it down as well. So, nearly run out of duct tape. That goes in here. Okay, now you may be wondering what this is all going to build up to here. If it all works, by the end of the show, we will know what that code is. I say we, I already know. Okay. Okay, that's going to stay up here. If you just keep an eye on it, that would be great. It's not going to go anywhere. Just sounds like a magician if I say something like that, doesn't it? Okay, so we have our setup ready, which now means that we need our first intrepid adventurers. Would anybody like to have a go at playing my Scratch game? Yes, we do. We have somebody in the front. Brilliant. Okay, would you like to come on up, and would you give them a nice round of applause as well? You've even seen some of what I've written, which is great that you're still willing to volunteer. Let me give you this chair over here. That should be a little bit better. Yeah. Okay, so what's your name, by the way?
Karen.
Karen. With a K or with?
A K.
With a K. Okay. So everybody else, this is Karen. Now, what Karen doesn't realize... 2 rounds of applause. That's roughly equal to me so far. So your job is actually quite dangerous. There is a possibility that you're going to die.
Sign a waiver?
No. Yeah, that's a good point. My insurance doesn't cover that, so if you can avoid dying, that'd be great. What I really also need for you is some support. So do you have anybody back in the audience who might be able to help you out? No, he's looking at Philip there. And not sure. Okay, in that case, you have the whole audience to help you.
Yeah.
However, we'll limit you to asking the audience only twice. Okay? So that's more, everybody else only gets once. Okay? So I say everybody else because I'm expecting you to die. So if you're sitting here thinking, oh, I can do this, then this is your chance. Okay, so without any further ado, hopefully you can sort of guess how to use this. This is basically like a show and usability testing in one go. So, and just to prove, you can actually see that I'm actually writing this on the Scratch website too, just in case you think I'm cheating here and using something like Unity. Right, Karen, when you're ready, click ahead. Okay, so we are in a jungle, which is kind of what we'd expect, or a forest, or maybe just some weird mix of castle and forest. And we have to get our way through these doors, first of all, to fetch the treasure back from inside this fortress. So what is our first action going to be here?
see if it's booby trapped.
Okay, yeah, see if it's booby trap would be a good idea. Yeah, there's a good chance that someone's going to try and stop you. Okay. Now, I did say that it's important you don't click anything here because you might just, click the wrong thing very quickly. So in this case, I say it's fairly safe to click away. So go ahead and tell us what you're going to do as you go. So you're going to go for the trees. No, the door knocker. Oh, the suspicious-looking sign on the top. Excellent. So maybe this. Yeah, well done. This first part is my homage to Shadowgate. If anybody played Shadowgate on the Nintendo Entertainment System in the 90s, there's an impossible first puzzle where you have to click the right brick to move on. And there's no reason why you have to do it. But Karen, you got past that straight away, which is brilliant. So the game maybe is a little bit easier than you think it's going to be, isn't it?
Okay. So
Yeah.
I'm allowed to continue?
Yes, you can continue on.
Yay.
That's the built-in Scratch door creaking sound effect. It's like waving the door back and forth to get it to. Okay,
3.
right. Meanwhile, we distracted Karen from the clue that came up there, saying the number is 3. So, bearing in mind that you went through the first puzzle extremely easily, how do you feel about this one?
There's 2 options, I think. Either
Yeah.
there needs to be 3 bars on the door, or there needs to be 3 candles lit.
Ooh, okay, so three bars on the door because there's 4 bars on the door, or 3 candles lit maybe because there's 3 candles there. Okay, this is looking kind of interesting. I'm just having to think. I'm just wondering, I should have got something for you, just so everybody else can hear when you make the wrong decision. Let me get one of these for you. I'm looking up here, Chris. Yeah, that's up. That's brilliant. Okay, just because I think we'd all like to know.
I think I would put out one of the candles so that there's 3 candles lit.
Okay. Right, now do you want to ask the audience at this point? We gave you 2 goes, see if you get some help from the audience before you make your decision. What would you like to do?
Yeah, I'm calling in the audience for
Okay.
a favor.
Does anybody else want to volunteer some information here? No one's putting themselves forward. Okay. Oh, a possible go from here. Oh, there's a strange patch of light on the bottom left of the screen.
Not on that screen.
Thank you. I think that might have been where I maybe knocked my hat against the screen earlier and left a mark on it, which we shouldn't have pointed out that much. It's probably quite an expensive screen. Okay. That wasn't very useful, was it? Thank you. Right, so what do you want to go for, Karen?
Oh, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna put out a candle, but which one? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Oh, she's gone for the third one from the left, which is interesting. Okay.
That didn't, it clicked. If I click
Okay.
the door, will I die?
Okay, now there's a problem of something's happened, but not what you thought it was going to happen. Which probably means I should have thought about this game a little bit harder. You're going to have to do something else. I mean, you're allowed to give up, by the way. If you want to go and sit down, that's fine. And then I just have to sit here and play it on my own, which is nowhere near as interesting for everyone else.
I'm just gonna click the door, and if I die, I die.
Okay, go for it. Yeah,
Oh.
nothing's going to happen. Yeah.
Okay. 3. Will you do anything? Oh! I'm dead.
Oh, can you please give Karen a big round of applause? Thank you. Thank you. So Karen got past the first step, which is actually pretty impressive because I didn't expect anyone to get past the first bit, so good. So in my role here as Dungeon Master, effectively, it's up to me to give the next person a clue. So before you leap out of your seat and throw yourself into danger, let me try and give you a clue. And the clue is going to come from computer science, because this problem is going to be one of counting. The clue said that we have to get the number 3, but didn't really tell us anything else apart from that. And this might be a problem of how we count. Because in computing terms, we normally only really count in ones or zeros, which is what we would call binary. Either something is on or off, or on or off, or so on. Now, this comes down to the problem of computer circuits, just being electronic circuits. So you can either turn something on, and your current flows, and you get a light bulb turn on, or it's off, and then nothing happens. That means everything inside the computer is going to be ons and offs. So for us to get past this clue, we have to learn to think like a computer. So we have to be able to think in binary. Bear in mind, this show was designed for children to begin with. So for those of you that don't know, which is probably none of you, this is 0 in binary. So I'm probably not going to ask you what 1 would be. I'm going to let you figure it out, because this would be 1. Okay, so we've got 0 and 1 either being off or on. The problem is, what happens if you want to have a bigger number than that? You need 2 lights. So with 2 lights, we could have, oh, hang on, I'm clicking too fast now. So we can have lots of different options here. I'm just going to go back to the beginning of that. So we can have this one on. Or we could have none of them on. Or we could have this one on. Or we could have both of them on. So we've got 4 different possibilities here, which means we can give them different numbers. We could call this 1, we could call this 2, and we could call this 3. Actually, just to map that out a little bit better, that would look like this. Okay, so you've got 0 here, 1 here, we'd call this 2, and this would be 3. Now, this is not that different to how we would count normally. If you think about numbers like this is counting in base 10. We would have our units over here, our tens over here, our hundreds over here. And so that's the same kind of thing for us in binary, except that instead of having units, tens, and hundreds, we have something else. Because when you run out of units, if we go up to 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on and so on and so on, there comes a point when you run out of digits. So you end up starting a new column, your tens, and you put a 1 there instead of a 0 back where you were. This is how binary works. So again, if we keep going further and further up, we run out of digits. So let's have a look at what to do in terms of binary stuff here. We've got our 1s, and we have 1 or 0 here. And when we run out of numbers, we have to put 1 over there. So that's going to then be our 2s. So now we have 2. So to make 3, we have a 2 plus a 1. Okay, so nice and simple. Probably slightly overdoing it at this point. So just to be nice and clear, those are 1s. Those are 2s. If we get another 1, then we have to think, well, what's extra? 4s. Cool, okay. I'm really gone too far with this, but just to be absolutely clear, that's how we count in binary. That's the clue to solve the next room. Do we have another player that would like to try this out? Yes, we do. Okay, over here. Thank you. Would you please give him a round of applause? Thank you. Come up this way. Surprisingly, I thought there'd be loads of people that would like to play until I realized that, yeah, I've made it really hard.
My friend gave me the idea. She thought it was brilliant.
Oh, okay.
She knows what
Okay.
the answer is.
That's good, because to be honest, if you don't get it, I don't think anybody else is coming up afterwards.
Oh, okay. I'm terrified.
So let's press the green button. No, the green flag.
Yeah.
And we're back at the beginning again. Okay, so hopefully the beginning bit's now be really easy for you. Please don't die on the first screen.
I have to click on here to get a power, right?
Yes, yep. So we click at the top. Brilliant. Okay, and we go through. Okay, so the number is 3.
Okay. So, what she said was we're starting here because of the lights under there.
Yeah.
And because we want to count to 3, we want to click on that one and then on that one, because that would count us to 3. Don't laugh.
Okay. Now, because I forgot to ask you when you came up here, you're meant to have a support team back in the audience.
Okay.
Do you have a support team back there in the audience who can assist you?
Go on.
So you are, I can't remember who you were sat next to. Yeah, so you can correct her at this point
Yes,
if you'd
have I
like
got it
to.
right?
Are you happy with that? I can't, I'm not sure who I'm looking at the moment, but
Sorry, the lassie's seeing like 4
4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, okay, you're over there. Can you give us a wave? Can I see who you are? Okay. Oh, yeah, you're over there. Okay. So you're happy with that? That's what you were thinking about?
Maybe.
Okay. Now, because you have a support team, you only get 1 time to ask the audience. So do you want to check with the audience whether they agree now, or you can save that for later? So To repeat her plan, yeah.
Okay, my plan was to click on this one here, first off, and then to click on this one here, because that would give us, starting from the left, which sounds counterintuitive, but we've got a patch of light there. Or should we do what we're meant to do normally and start from the right? Okay, okay.
Okay, let's just get a quick vote on that. If you
Yeah,
think
right.
you should start from the left, could you please just raise your hands? And if you think she should start from the right, could you please raise your hands?
Okay, the sensible people to put their hand up.
Right. Yay! I think that's about as hard as it gets. Okay, we're in another room. Okay.
Of these is not a programming. Oh, for goodness sake.
Right.
I
This
can't even read that.
it's meant to be in a different language, so you know I
okay.
can't read it. Yeah. Okay, so this might be a little bit of a difficult one for you. So maybe it's best if I now talk a little bit about what we call esoteric programming languages. So if you're not familiar with the idea of an esoteric programming language, you will be after this. Programming languages are meant to be like simple to use, right? But they never seem to be. So obviously around here, we use a very special programming language. But if you went to do programming sort of 20 years ago, you'd probably learn C first of all. And in order to write the most basic program, you have to do all of this stuff. And all this does is writes to the screen the words "Hello World," and then actually gives you a new line as well, which is kind of a bonus. So most programming languages look very similar. If you get a C++, you get something that's kind of the same thing, where the words are different, but the structure is about the same. There's this kind of thing about including stuff at the beginning, and then you sort of mention there's like a main bit, and then there's a bit with the words in it. Java's a little bit easier to understand, even if you don't actually know much about it. So you end up with this kind of title for your program, and then you just kind of write system.out.print, that's line. Okay. Yeah. And we had to then, for some reason, we had to put all these little curly bracket things in there as well. Otherwise, nothing works. Who knows why? So it's one of the great mysteries of the universe. Still, yeah.
It's meant to make it easier to read.
Yeah. So apparently, she's a fan of the curly bracket things. So what about these esoteric programming languages? Well, these are ones that aren't really meant to be easy. So my favorite of these is called lolcode. So lolcode is a programming language, but it's designed in the sort of speak of lolcats. Now, if you don't know what a lolcat is, you don't understand how to waste time on the internet, or at least how people used to waste time. It's a website where you basically just look at pictures of cats. But all the cats, I know it used to be all aggregated, now it's just Twitter, but they used to be aggregated together in this cat-specific website. But the cats always spoke in a certain way. So in this case, Spitz is saying that he's fixing the computer, but instead he says, KK, me thinks it's fixed, you reboot now, KK. KK is okay for a cat. They had their favorite phrase is "can has cheeseburgers," which I think is to asking for a cheeseburger. They don't spell anything correctly either. So lolcode is basically like code written by lolcats. So you start your program off by saying, hi, and then the second line, no really, the next line is to check to see whether you can have the standard input-output library. So that's can has stdio. You then say, visible, hi world. To be fair, this doesn't say hello world, it does literally say hi world, but it's much funnier that way. To finish the program, you have to at least say thank you, so you've got, okay, thanks, bye. It gets weird. Actually, the guy who wrote this, I believe is at Lancaster University, and he also did...
That up then.
Yes, yeah. So you can write a whole functional program in this. The second version was one of my absolute favorites. This is Chef, and it's also written by the same person. And Chef is a recipe form of programming. So your variables are all listed as ingredients in your recipe. In this case, I believe these are either ASCII code or Unicode letters. So each one of those things relates to some amount of... But anyway, you can kind of see where we're going with this. So you take all of your ingredients and you put them into the mixing bowl, which is just to combine them together. You liquefy them, you put them into the baking dish. There's one. And this would actually put out hello world to your computer screen.
I feel like I've learned something today.
Thank you. It gets worse. as far as I can tell, the very first esoteric language is one called Intercal. And it goes back to the early 70s. And this is when people, I guess, had nothing better to do with computers than make them really hard. So Intercal is deliberately written to be difficult to program in. So there's no kind of like plus and minus and divide and times. You're left with only very, very simple operators. So you have to kind of, honestly, this is a Hello World program. I'll be honest with you, I don't understand how it works. What I do know is that even if you get everything else here right, if you get to the end and you get an error that comes out at the end afterwards, the most common error is not polite enough. You have to write please enough times in your program, otherwise nothing happens. My all-time favorite of these, in terms of like the difficult programming language, is Whitespace. Whitespace is entirely written in spaces, tabs, and carriage returns. Now, most of you can wear this out already. This is a Hello World program in Whitespace. Because it's spaces, tabs, and carriage returns. Okay, so if that seems hard enough to program in, you've done nothing until you've come to Malbolga, the hardest of all programming languages. Malbolga is so difficult that it was named after one of the circles of hell in Dante's Inferno. Nobody could work out how to program it because every time you type something, the whole programming language shifts. So what you need to type next is different. So in other words, if you type a plus, the next time you want a plus, it's a different key. It was finally hacked by somebody with a cryptographic algorithm that's usually applied to decoding DNA. And this is what a Hello World program looks like in Malbolga. This doesn't even actually write hello world. The capitalization isn't in there either. But yeah, it's a close approximation. So it kind of gives you an idea actually of why Scratch is so good, because, you know, hello world. Exactly. This is it. This is a hello world program in Scratch. It's much better, right? Okay, so having trained you in esoteric programming languages, how do you feel about tackling that problem?
Absolutely confident.
Okay, let's go back to our game. So we had a choice here. One of either Pikachu or Snorlax is actually an esoteric programming language. One of them is not. Okay?
So hopefully someone's Googled it.
Yeah, so it's a choice of A or B. Now, before you make that choice, let me just specify this a little bit better. So we have here A. You're watching this still, aren't you? Good. And we have B. And your choice is very important here, because if you choose the wrong one, then there's a bomb behind it. Yeah, exactly. So there's not really anything else to do here. Well, I suppose technically, yes. Not in that way. If you want more explosive stuff, you have to come tomorrow night's show, I'm afraid. There's less of that in this one. Okay. A or B, which is it going to be? So you can't ask the audience because you've actually used your ask the audience, but you do still have your support team back here of 1, I think it was, wasn't it? So I can't see where you are back there, aren't you? So do you have any preference here on what it's going to be? Yeah.
Flick a coin. Or Google it. A? You think A?
You think-
Have you Googled it?
You want to go for A. So just to be clear, A is the one that's not a real programming language. Yeah? Okay. So you think A is not a real programming language. So in that case, the question is, which one of these is not a real programming language? So, hang on. Have I got this the right way around? Oh, I've put them the wrong way around on there. And it's really hard to change that without everybody else saying yeah. So which box was it you wanted again? I think you said A, didn't you? Yeah. Go for A. It's fine.
A. I'll
Okay,
definitely go
you're
for
going to go for A, and A is right. Yay! B had the bomb behind it, which is just a shame. Actually,
Again, I could actually see that.
yeah, I know it was really difficult to hide it from you. Yeah, I know.
Flex off the side.
Oh, but that's very good for me to know. Thank you very much. It's cheating by looking at the box over here.
I'm a teacher.
So as it happens, your choice is completely correct. So I'll now take these really overdone bits of laser cut plywood out of the way because your choice is correct. Now, actually, behind number A, there was also something else, but I realized I couldn't hide it from you. So you get a bonus item in box number A, and there's a plasma ball. Okay, now plasma ball is going to be very useful for us. So allow me to show you why. Now, hopefully, all of you own one of these. Does everybody have one of these at home? No? Yes, some people? Okay. All right, everybody else should get one after this. So I'm just going to show you very quickly what this does, just in case you're not familiar with the concept of a plasma ball. It is really properly known as a Tesla coil, because it's named after Nikola Tesla. There we go. Ooh, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Okay, you'd be more impressed about this if you were a child. Now, these are very, very useful to have in school, and because you can demonstrate what people can do with this. So, and actually, would you mind just coming up and having a little try with this? So you can pop the microphone where it is. It's fine. So, have you ever actually touched one of these before?
Yes.
Okay, brilliant. So, in that case, you're going to be used to what happens when you do. So, in your own time, just pop your right hand on the lightning ball over there. Okay, great.
Happy?
Yeah, that was less painful than I thought it was going to be. No, it's okay. So sometimes people get a little shock as they do it. But so at this point, you can see that all the electricity is going onto you, right?
Yes.
Because you'll get the line up here. And the nice thing about plasma balls is a really nice way of demonstrating the conductivity because you can put your right hand on the top. And would you mind just putting it back on there for a second? So while you do this.
Stop me next time.
No, it's okay. No, I was only kidding. The show is short of jokes. So if you just put your left hand up for me like this.
Like this.
Okay, cool. Yeah. You are now actually hitting everybody over here with lightning. Okay, you've got to kind of get the fingers out there. Yeah, exactly, right? Okay.
Sorry.
Maybe we're finding out what you would do if you ever did have that power. So, I'm actually not joking. There is genuinely lightning coming off your fingertips. And we can prove it. If you just hold that hand out again for me. If you just take hold of this for a moment.
Like
Take a grip of it. Yeah, okay, not so much that you break it. We can actually get the light to turn on as well. Nice. A lot of people do these with Van de Graaff generators. They're actually really nice with plasma balls. Yeah, more reliable. Okay, so having just shown you how this plasma ball is working, you can take that back with you. So this is for you to take with you as well. There you go. And we can come back over to here, and we'll carry on through the dungeon.
Oh, it's got to do more work.
Yeah, there's more to the game still, yeah. Okay. So we have a room to go through at the moment over here. So, so you have to pick your box. You can pick A. You can pick A now. It's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, it's safe. It's safe.
I feel like I clicked on it.
Oh, and there's an arrow as well. Great, excellent.
Okay.
I think I've not understood about sound effects and like when stuff happens. Oh my God, there's a robot. And we were at the safe, but there is a robot in the way. We're an ancient civilization that had the technology to have safes and robots. And we are going to need to be able to defeat this remote control robot. So, any ideas about how we're going to do this? Drop. He's in the way of the safe. Okay, you have an item that you've picked up with you that you could use here. The plasma ball, that's right. Okay.
Chuck it at
Yeah. No. I mean,
Good response, but sorry.
if you throw it, if you throw it at the screen, nothing else is going to happen really. But there is something that we can do with this. So you can stay sitting down there for a moment. If we plug the plasma ball back in, it's very important this robot is radio controlled. So down here I have a radio with me, and I've got this tuned in. So let's pop it over here for now.
It's a song called Mongrel.
Okay.
And it's about the fact that she was.
So I'm tuned into Radio 4, which, if you're from the UK, you will understand is quite boring, and very likely to talk about Brexit. So let's move this over to something else. We'll have some Radio 1 instead. There we go. Bit more tune. Now at the back, can you hear that okay? Okay, that's very important here. So our radio is working the same way that the robot would do. Let's pop it down there for a moment. Where the radio signal is going to come through the air and hear the robot. Now, this is where we're going to have to pretend this is the robot, okay? And you are going to have the power to stop this. So you need to come just over here for me. Let's pop that over there. Yeah, I'll bring it over for you, actually, I think, because there's loads of wires everywhere. So all you have to do is put your left hand on the lightning ball and at the same time, reach out to the radio, okay?
Let's not go blow me up.
I
You can't be.
That's close enough. You should be fine. You'll be fine. You've got it. You've got it. Don't worry. I've never done this with someone else. Oh,
It shouldn't be, you shouldn't have to touch it. No, you should be okay. Because you should be able to do that, because it's like a robot.
exactly. She's completely unimpressed. But either way, magical, amazing. Thank you. And then the first time I saw that, I thought it was incredible. Right, okay. So the robot is useless without his powers. So you've managed to defeat him. Right, we're doing pretty well here. So,
You still got a safe.
right. So now we have a problem. So do we have a way into the safe?
I need to remember who it was in the audience and pay them a significant amount of money.
Okay, that may work too. He's like, yeah, that's going to work. There is another way. Okay, and this is where I'm going to step in.
Break it.
Yeah, well, I'm going to help you slightly here. So all of you were given the tool, actually, when you came here in order to get past this. And you were given that when you were... actually, that's a good idea. The wireless access code could have been the code, which would have explained a lot. But no, it's not. Yeah, you were given a Raspberry Pi, exactly. So you can... you have used yours already. Oh, okay. So mine is, actually, I'm not using the Raspberry Pi I was given today because obviously I did actually do some preparation for the show. So my Raspberry Pi is over here. And this is a Raspberry Pi Zero, or the cute Raspberry Pi, because it's really tiny. So this one's got the camera module on it. And I'm just going to load up the camera so we can all see what's going on here. So let's just bring the camera up. Now that is in another window over here. It's very slick. Watch this. Wow, yeah. Oh, no, log in. There we go. That's the wrong finger. There we go. It didn't used to be a problem. Oh, and here's my camera. Okay, so we've got a nice view now of the beautiful audience. There they are. I'm burrowing them up because we're coming towards the end, and I don't think it's not been that good yet. So here they are. Now, yeah. The camera that I put on here is a special camera. This is the no infrared filter camera on the Raspberry Pi. So this does some pretty cool stuff. It doesn't mean you have to be very familiar with invisible colors. So is everybody here familiar with invisible colors? Generally, we're...
Because it's perception.
Okay, so this is the problem of doing this with teachers, is they keep correcting you and everything. But yes, you're right. Technically, all colors are visible, but just not to us. We get things like... No, you're completely right, it's fine. So we get things like ultraviolet light. It's one of my favorite things. Well, you're going to know this already. Highlighters in school are actually fluorescent. That's why they're called fluorescent highlighters, and they look absolutely rubbish. I was going to see if I could draw a scratch cat, but I immediately drew the wrong one. I'm just going to draw a little smiley face on here. So when you get UV light on them, it's kind of there. Yeah, you get the idea, yeah. So the point being is that the light is invisible until the ink changes it to yellow, and then we can see what would previously be invisible. It's not so good. Infrared on the red side is much better for this. So most of you will probably know the little trick you can do with a remote control. Do you want to know this? So I presume everybody's got a remote control for something, especially if you're programming robots. Anyone ever done that thing before where you've got the light on the front and you sort of put it at your face and you push the buttons to see if there's a light will come on? Out of interest, could you just put your hands up if you ever did that any time sort of since you were a kid, sort of up to being an adult? Have you ever sort of, yeah? I mean, me too. Yeah, it could be really dangerous. But luckily it's okay. So just a quick test for those of you who haven't seen this before. If I just push the button, can you tell me if you can see the light flashing on and off here fairly fast? Okay, good. No, it's just a quick test. Obviously, if you're a human being, you won't. But anybody that's here secretly as a robot would have answered yes to that question. Because any camera will see this stuff, right? So if I bring the camera, I'm just going to bring it around over to me now. Here we go. So here is the remote control. And if I just put it into the camera, we hopefully will see. It's neat, isn't it? Now, you can do this with any CCD, because any camera like this is susceptible to showing infrared light. So there's normally a filter in the way, and that's what the no infrared filter camera is that you get with a Raspberry Pi. It doesn't have the filter, so it sees infrared much better. But we can go one step further with this. Now, I'm going to need your help for this, okay? So you're going to be the camera person.
I'm not sure if I'm qualified for that.
It's pretty easy. You're basically just going to have to line the camera up to the right place when the moment comes. Because I want to show you something nice and cool. And this took me years to realize how simple this should really be. Now, there's not enough infrared light in this room to make this work really well. And you can tell that because if I just take my visible light filter, and just put it over the top of here, you should be able to see that there's very little going on in this room right now. So can you just point it towards the audience slightly? Yeah, it sort of rotates on the top. There you go. And you see as we go, if I put this filter in place, it just looks like a black piece of plastic, which is pretty much what it is. You may notice there's a little bit of light showing in the top right corner for you, somewhere over there, which is the doors, because there's a little bit of infrared light leaking through from there. If I just bring this light on over here and do the same thing, we can now see the guys in the front row. Hi, guys. Now I'm distracting you from looking at the box. So he's still looking at the box. So this is purely because we're putting infrared light on them. Okay. Now this is your job. It's basically to hold that there and rotate the camera round to the box.
Right now?
Yeah. Just to be clear, it's nice, isn't it? I'm glad. No one's ever seen this before. Well, people probably have, but you know, I've never shown it to anyone before. So inside here should be the number. So yeah, what I need to do is to bring the camera a little bit closer and see if we can actually see what the number says. I'm reasonably confident that we're going to be able to pick this out.
Sorry, mine you too. Yeah,
Okay,
it's all good.
would you at 3, 7, 7, 8?
But it's the wrong way. Wow.
It's the wrong way around, do you think? What, do you mean to be like that way around?
No, I'm just being an idiot. Sorry.
Oh, that's okay. I'm not sure either at this point.
Being an
It's three. Otherwise, that would be really, really tricky. Okay, so we've got 3, 7, 3, 7, 8. Okay, you can let go of that. That's fine. Pop it down the table. So we come over here to the safe, which means you've actually got the code for the safe.
No, but I can't remember what it is. Like, seriously.
3. Wait, there you can. What is it? 3, 7, 7, 8. It's really hard when you're standing on the stage to think of anything other than, oh my God, everyone's looking at me. Okay,
Right,
then push the button number A, and if it's right, it'll give us a nice little beep beep. That's good. And then open the safe up. And on the inside is the treasure that we were keeping. Yeah.
You nearly got this.
There's nothing, it's in the screen, so we have to come back over here. Okay, come on over this way, because obviously it's not real.
Oh, I thought it was gonna be like chocolate or something.
Oh, that would have been a really good idea. Right, okay, never mind.
Next
Okay,
time. Next time.
we have got... Well done.
Oh,
Now,
we've got to get out.
this would have been a really good point to leave it on, but we've got one extra thing. So the exit has been blocked on the way out there. It looks like the sort of electronic doors have been broken into and sabotaged. So we're going to have to connect these manually. So for this final thing, I think we're going to need your support out on stage here to help us with this. We can get them through it, and there is one way of connecting this circuit up. Where is your support person? Were you all right coming up to help out as well? It's a very easy thing to do. Yeah, okay, good. And let's get our villain to help us out as well. Would you mind coming back up here? Yeah, would you mind just coming back up here as well? Brilliant, okay. And yeah, you can say no as well. You don't have to come out, okay.
Send someone else.
Yeah, we've got to come in. Would you give them a round of applause for coming out as well? Okay, so come up on this way. So this is my last kind of thing to share with you. It's my favorite thing you can do with electronics. It does have to come with one or two caveats. We can explode something, but only by accident. We can bridge the circuit here using people. Okay, now we did that earlier using the lightning bulb and the fluorescent bulb, but we have another way of doing it as well. So the circuit we're going to try and actually connect together would be the door circuit in the game. That would be pretty boring if we tried to listen to it. Okay. So I'm just going to cheat and use some music instead. So let's have. I'll go from this side to this side. So I think if you want to pick the music, it's up to you. Do you know?
Cheesy? Something really cheesy?
Do you know any of those?
No.
Okay. How about any of that?
Not going to be any better. I know that one.
Okay, go for it.
Just pick it, yeah?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, no, that's not the right one. This one.
Okay. Well, this is a good choice. All of my music is cheesy, which is really useful. I don't know if anybody is going to know this. Obviously, it's very quiet on here. It is Meatloaf Bad Out of Hell, yeah. Okay, so the first step to be able to actually get this signal across in kind of a way of joining up these doors would be to plug in the phone into an amplifier. This is to increase the amount of electricity we have, or rather to increase the voltage of it. So let's have a look. Oh, so obviously it gets a lot louder at this point. So the next step is that we're going to we're going to plug in some headphones, and they go in here. Okay, now the music hasn't actually stopped at this point, right? So the music goes down this cable. Now, obviously, those of you who are used to robotics and things will be comfortable with the idea this is an electrical signal going through here, but pretend to be a child for a moment. This is like magic. The only thing is this is not a pair of headphones. This is just a bare cable on the end. And for the only time ever, this is a good time to actually touch a bare cable with your hands, okay? Unless you've got a makey board, in which case this is kind of similar. So, brilliant, okay. Now, actually, I want you to just touch the very top pin. So what I want you to take it off and just put your finger on the very top like that, okay? So, brilliant, okay. Now, all of that music is on you.
So you've got to
Yeah.
do something.
Yeah. Can you hear anything, by the way?
No.
Okay, that's good. Because occasionally people say yes, and I really don't know whether to believe them or not. Okay, so that's good. So the music's on you. Let me just check to make sure it's actually still playing. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Okay, so our next stage is to actually then see if we get anything out of the other end, and that's what the other amplifier is for. Now, I don't want to give anyone the wrong impression. It can be really dangerous to do something like this. So if you decide that you want to have a go with doing this, maybe you want to do it with some kids in your classroom, please do try and test what you've got coming through there first. It's a simple check, and don't test it just by like licking it or something. Like, you know, get a multimeter.
I'm joking.
Naomi, can you come over here for me? Actually, I'm just gonna connect you up. Can you put your left hand out for me like this? That one, good. You confused me there. It's like,
No, I'm just checking. Yeah, that's
can you hear that? Okay, so that's the sound that you normally make electrically.
that's normal.
Yeah. So obviously we're not getting what we want because you're not connected together. So the next step, yeah, exactly. And my preferred method is the fist bump, exactly. Yeah. So and then yeah. Okay. Now, if you get this working, you can play around and DJ with it as well. You know, kind of like this. But I'll leave you to decide this. Okay. Let me just check to make sure everything's on because I haven't checked for a little while. So music is playing. So that should be Meatloaf coming through if we get this right. And this is our last thing we do, by the way, before you escape. So hopefully it's going to work. Back your hand if you could, please. And then 3, 2, 1, fist bump. I think we got something.
No, we did.
Yeah, okay, go together and hold together. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Oh, we have one more thing to do. And that is to click on the exit and... On the exit sign, actually, yeah, because I couldn't make anything aboard. Yeah, there's a button. And you have escaped. You please give Naomi a big round of applause. Thank you very much. Thank you.